Hello, YouTube and YouTube subscribers. My name is Natasha Gates, and today I'm going to talk about what it was like for me to see like an entity, or if you want to call it like a ghost. I don't know. I like the word entity because I think like using the word ghost, it's like a different way of seeing the entity, but the entity that I'm talking about is like seeing a person just the way that you're looking at me right now. That's how clearly I saw an entity. So when I was 27 years old, I was living with my now ex-husband, and I was living in this old warehouse that turned into a loft building. And it wasn't that old, but it was old, you know. And I noticed weird things around the place, but that wasn't anything different because the spirits follow me. It's not always the place. It's usually the person. Okay. So I'm aware that I'm a magnet for, spirits and poltergeists and all this other stuff since I was about 8 years old. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this place is just, really benign and it's not going to bother me. So I went to bed, and I remember waking up for like no reason at all. And like the headboard was against the wall. So like let's pretend my chair, like this is my chair. We'll pretend this is the headboard. And so I'm like sleeping like this, and I feel like something is behind me. Like all of a sudden, like waking up like from a deep sleep. And then all of a sudden I look over like this. And all of a sudden the entity was in front of me now, like at the edge of the bed, looking at me. Like this is them, and they're looking at me. So I can tell you that I never saw one for sure that was that clear. I know I saw a boy once, but I was a lot younger, and I tend to doubt myself, my younger self. But this entity had a black top hat on. He had gray, like whitish hair. He had a suit on, like with the whole entire, like rich people suit back, like in probably like the 1800s. And it was like a button-up vest. And he had on it had like long tails in the back, like from the suit jacket. And the suit outfit, whatever you want to call it, was black. And in his like little pocket there was a handkerchief thing, and he was smiling. Like he wasn't scary at all. Like he looked very wealthy, and he had a monocle, like, like those, like if you needed glasses in one eye, they had a monocle, and it had like a little chain thing. And then he also had the chain pocket watch, like in his pocket, like how people had like the gold pocket watch with the chain on it. That was there too. I mean, he had every bell and whistle that a more prominent gentleman would have had at that time. And I remember his face, like I remember his face more clearly than some people that I know. And that's what is strange to me, is that I am now 43 years old, and I can still remember that face of the way he smiled at me. I knew he wasn't there for me. I knew he was there for him. And that's like another story about me, is that, I've been like, I don't even know what to call myself, but I am very intuitive, let's put it that way. But anyway, I knew that the spirit was there for him in body form. And it was like weird because I knew that. And he looked at me and smiled, and then he disappeared. And I was startled, and it takes a lot to startle me. And my ex-husband was like, what just happened? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Because he gets scared really fast. Like, he's a scaredy cat. And so I told him what happened, and he was like kind of really, really into it, you know? And he's like, are you sure you saw what you saw? And I know what I saw. Like, and he knows that I don't lie, which gets me in trouble all the time because I don't lie, which is a big bummer for me. But anyway, he knew I was serious because I don't just say things that aren't true. But I'll never forget what I saw and how I saw it. It was just like looking at a person, like just a person that's right in front of you, flesh and blood. There was nothing different about seeing this entity that you would be like, oh, that's a ghost. Or there was nothing transparent about it. It was so real. And no, I'm not on drugs. No, I wasn't drinking. I had nothing I was under the influence of nothing. And I just wanted to know who he was. And at the time I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was living on the east side of Cleveland where all the rich people used to live. Like, there's like, you know, where the Rockefellers lived and things like that. And that's where $1 Million Row was. And we were like right on top of like somebody's house that used to live there. For all I know, it was somebody's spirit from the house that the factory was built upon, you know. I don't know. But I was never able to find out who he was. But he did resemble a little bit of my ex-husband's face. Maybe it was someone that knew how successful he was going to be, and he kind of just like gave that reassurance, like, you know, let him know. I wasn't really good at giving spiritual messages back then like I am today. I believe that I would have been able to convey the message a lot more clearly and concisely, since that's what I like apparently do for a living. And I just wanted to share this because I think it's something that maybe other people can relate to. The one thing I think is very strange is that I was only able to see for sure, without a doubt, because it was in our house that I saw an entity. What I'm wondering is how many people we actually see out there that are actually entities and not real people. Like, if you believe in the Bible, you know, it says in the Bible to be careful how you treat strangers because you never know, like, who's amongst you. Like, the angels could be amongst you. And if you mistreat, you know, certain strangers, then you'll be judged upon it, like, in a different way, I guess. So that's why I think it's another message is to treat people with respect and the same level of value and integrity that you would treat someone who you know and respect. Because of what I saw, I know for a fact that obviously people can come back in full form. Like, so what does that tell us? It tells us that how we perceive humanity in our visceral selves isn't completely subjective, especially if there's human entities walking around that are just kind of here to send messages or visit. We don't know, right? So I just wanted to share that because not a lot of people know that about me, and this is my YouTube channel, so I should probably use it more effectively rather than just talking about hair and makeup and being sad all the time. But that is a true story, and I wouldn't have said it if it wasn't. And I just wondered if anyone else out there had kind of like a similar experience. The one thing I forgot to mention is how long the entity was there. I would say probably about 5 seconds, but it felt longer because I was able to like scan their outfit and like scan every detail, but yet it felt like they were only there for a split second. So I'm just estimating. So anyway, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for my next video. It's always different, right? Never know what you're gonna get. Have a good day, night, or evening.